This is the data set, sample data set we are using for the Excel visualization. The data set has to do with the fuel consumption of various cars. These are the car models. Okay, this is the mile per gallon, which is the fuel consumption. And these are the features of the car. Okay, most of these things have to do with the engine anyway. These are the features of the car. So it's expected that the fuel consumption depends on these features. Okay. So what are these features? These are the number of cylinders, displacement, horsepower, drafts, and so forth. Let me open up an explanation of this. Okay. So these are the various features: miles per gallon, number of cylinders, and so on and so forth. Okay. The gas, is it 5 gas system per car or 4 or 3? There used to be 3 those days. AM, is it automatic vehicle or manual? VS, is it V engine, curved engine, or straight engine? And so on. Okay. So let me share again. So this is data set. So the objective, like I said, is to draw insights based on these features, draw insights regarding the fuel consumption. For instance, what's the relationship between, let's say, for example, what's the relationship between the type of engine, whether it's automatic or manual, and the fuel consumption? Is it that the manual vehicles consume more fuel or the automatic consume more fuel? Okay. You can find out that from this data. Does the V engines consume more fuel or the straight engines? Okay. These are facts. These are insights we can draw from this data. And we can do so by using visualization. Can do so by using visualization. Okay. So to visualize this data, you have to look at you have to study the data carefully. For example, if you have to visualize using the number of using this AM, which is automatic or manual, you notice you have only 2 options, 1 and 0. 0 is automatic, 1 is manual. Just 2 options. So what kind of chart do you think would be suitable for that?
So a pie chart.
Yeah, like pie charts, for example, can be used for that. Pie chart can be used for that. Okay. But in a case like this, where you want to visualize using this weight, that's the weight of the vehicle, what kind of visualization do you think? Can you give an example of the visualization that can be used for this?
Line chart.
That's good. That's good, yeah. Line chart can be used for this. Why? Because why?
I think because we have is it many parameters or many values.
We have many values. Thank you. We have many different values, many different numbers here. So because of that, it's numeric and we have many different numbers. So because of that, um, something like line charts will be okay. Okay. What else can we use for this? Can you mention another type of chart we can use?
You can also use pivot charts.
Pivot charts. Yes, yes, yeah. Pivot charts. By the time you are using pivot chart, you have to choose whether it's a bar chart or pie chart. All of them are called pivot charts. Pivot chart is a
Okay.
general name for all of them.
We can use a bar chart or column chart.
No, bar charts, the values are too much for a bar chart.
Oh, column is it not the same thing as column
The
charts?
same thing as column charts.
Or
We,
histogram.
we can use histogram. We can use histogram for this. Okay. So why? Because histogram is used for numeric grouped numeric data, usually with many different values. Okay. So we need to study the data carefully so that we know the type of visualization that we can use. But the first thing you do, if you want the charts, the visualization to be dynamic instead of being static, what you do is you can start by creating pivot table. Okay, create pivot tables, and then you use pivot charts, just like Mr. Doty was mentioning just now. You use pivot charts instead of using ordinary charts. So just inserting charts straight. You use pivot table and then create charts from the pivot table using pivot charts. Why? Because that will give you the opportunity of using slicers. Slicers. Like this one, these are slicers. To give you the opportunity of using these slicers. And these slicers can be used to make it the visualization dynamic. Okay. These slicers can be used to do that, to make it dynamic. So that's why the process is usually involves creating pivot table and then creating pivot charts from the pivot tables. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm not going to create all this for you. This is more like the assignment I want you to do. So I'm just going to describe the process and take a few examples, one or two, and then give you a hint on how to, then I give you a set of questions to answer, which will result in producing something like this. It may not necessarily be exactly the same visualizations, but you know, you are going to create a dashboard for me like this. Okay. Now, what is a dashboard? Now, the term dashboard is a common term these days. I'm sure you have heard it a lot. Okay. Dashboard, creation of dashboard. So what's a dashboard? Can someone share with us what is a dashboard?
A dashboard can be a platform where information information are stored and you have a kind of quick access
Quick
to retrieve such information.
to get such information. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Yes, you've mentioned some vital properties of dashboard. Any other points about the dashboard? Dashboard usually contains information, and most of the time, this information are very important information. Okay, usually important summarized details. Okay, usually visuals, graphical, usually in graphical form, mostly in graphical form. Okay, now you see each of these are visualizations. These ones, each of them is a visualization. Okay, now there are different ways you can create and present visualization. You can create visualization in the form of the reports. Let's say, for example, you're asked to do a report. You can create, let's say you are doing annual report, for example. You can use various graphs and all that, on your report. So that will be a report. And it might be maybe a number of pages. But visualization, sorry, a dashboard is usually a one-page thing, usually on one page like this. And it usually contains important information, very important information. Okay, in a summarized form. Information, a dashboard usually communicates insights, very important insights, quickly. Okay, at a glance, it shows at a glance a lot of a number of key insights that are very, very important to the stakeholder. Okay, so usually on a page, just like this. You don't create dashboard to be on 3 or 4 pages, no. Just like the dashboard of a vehicle. On the dashboard, you can operate a lot of things easily. Okay. So that's the idea behind a dashboard. So I just mentioned 3 things that are related now. I mentioned visualization. I said these are visualizations. Each of them is a visualization because they are graphical representation of some important information. Each of them. Then when you use visualization to communicate some key information in a detailed form, which sometimes may require your presenting such information in a number of pages, that will be a report. But when you are creating using the visualization to create summaries, summarized information like this, where you have a key, a number of very key, very important information being communicated like this on one page, that's a dashboard. So these days, a lot of stakeholders, a lot of managers, CEOs, they usually demand for dashboards. because they want to be able to see a lot of information in a summarized form so that they can peruse such data quickly because they don't have time to waste. Okay, so to create a dashboard like this type of dashboard from Excel, what do you need? You need a data set. Okay, in our own case, I just showed you the data set. You need a data set. Secondly, you need to create a number of pivot tables. Usually, a good practice is to create a pivot table for each of the visualization. Okay. And then finally, you assemble you copy all those visualizations, copy them to the dashboard and organize them nicely. And of course, you insert your sliders, and then you connect your visualization with the slicer. Okay, you link them so that when you do something, when you make selections on the slicer, it will affect all the visualizations, at least a number of them at a go. Okay. So that's the process. That's the process. Okay, so let's quickly demo that. Let me close this one. Okay. So you see, okay, what screen are you seeing?
The dashboard.
Is it the first one I shared?
Is the dashboard, yeah.
Is it the very first one I shared you are still seeing?
Yes.
Yes. It's showing do not save, save, and cancel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you see a different screen now.
Yes.
All right. So how do we do that? This is the data, right? Now, let's say, for example, now what you do is you create different sheets. For example, this is dashboard. I created a sheet for it. I called it dashboard. Okay. Then you go to the data. Okay. This data is a table now. And this is in a table, in the form of a table. How did I do that? I just use Control T. Okay, when you click on it and press Control T, the data is converted to a table like this. Originally, it was not a table like this. Originally, it was not a table.
If I may ask, did you manually enter this data or it was sent from somewhere?
This data is it's available online.
Okay,
It's a free research data.
okay.
So if you look for it online, you can even find it. Okay, so
Like my if I may ask, like my Excel sheet
mm,
is on top of it, like yours is showing model MPG CYL. Well, it's supposed to be showing A, B, C, D, E. Is it when you converted it to table that appear or you entered it or something?
come again, come again. What's your
Okay, okay.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
seen it. I've seen it.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you create from your table, you create your pivot table. You just go to insert, click on pivot table. Okay. Then the table is already selected for you. You can leave that and just move on. Usually I like to use one sheet, separate sheet for each pivot table. So I select this new worksheet and then click OK. So there's a pivot table now. Let's say I want to create a pivot table for um, AM. Let me see the one that is already there so I don't create the same. Okay, that one is AM. So let's do something else.
Before you create a pivot table, you must have the data ready.
Yes, yes. You use your data to create your pivot table. You must have your data already. Okay. So let's say I want to use what do I use now? Cab, number of carburetors to create my pivot table here. And I want to see the MPG.
You've already created the pivot table, yeah?
What?
Have you not created the pivot table?
Yes.
So what are you creating again now?
Are you not seeing it?
I'm saying it. I thought when you just created the pivot table, it's automatically created, or you
When
have
when
to
I
start
when I
selecting.
created the pivot table, this is what it created, what you are seeing now.
Okay.
So you now have to
So
calculate it.
okay.
So you come to this pivot table fields here. You select the fields you want to use to create your visualization. I'm choosing MPG and cab. Okay. For the cab, let me deselect cab. Let me deselect it. A better way of doing this is you just drag. You drag MPG to values. You drag your cab to rows. Okay. So in that case, it appears like this. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to use this to create what type of charts? What type of chart do you think we should create with this? I click on the pivot table, click analyze, and then click pivot charts. Okay. So we can do a column chart or bar chart. Hmm? Can do a column chart like this. Okay. And design. I use different themes. You can see there are different themes here, which you can choose from. I choose various colors. Okay, you can